Hey everybody.
Hey, what's going on?
It's me, Katie.
And I'm Jason.
From the Board Game Mechanics, which you already know if you're here.
Yeah, you're banging on the table a lot. That's usual.
You know what I'm going to do. I'm going to bang on the table. It's what I'm going to do. I express myself with my arms, my hands.
Don't do it.
I'm going to do it.
Don't do it. All right, so we're back. We did another video. I'm going to scoot over some. We did another video of our top 200 to 191 games. And now we're going to do 190 through 181. Because that's how numbers work and the countdowns work. So that's what we're going to do.
This is kind of concurrent with our podcast each week, where we're going through our top 100. 100. So we thought we'd tell you our top 200. So more games to get to know, maybe hear about for the first time, see if you want to find them. Don't put yourself into bankruptcy, okay?
Or do. We're not to tell you what to do.
No, you need a place to live first. You pay for your place to live first. Then you can choose games or food, okay?
If you want to buy a bunch of games, you buy a bunch of games. You do you. Just don't blame it on us.
That's right. The Board Game Mechanics is not liable.
Yeah. If you want to buy a bunch of games, it's up to you. Between you and your wallet. All right, so all that being said, let's get started. So you want to go first? Because I do it first on the podcast. That's what we did last time. Sure.
I was going to drink my tea, but I'll just let it cool. My number 190 is a game that might be higher if I played it more and feel like I understood it. And that game is Heaven and Ale.
Oh, yeah.
So the theme is you're like monks, kind of, and you're going to brew beer and do other monk things.
You also grow crops.
Right.
To help you make
monk
beer.
Things.
Yeah. Monk things is also worshiping, but I don't think there's any worshiping in that game.
I don't know, honestly.
They worship the beer, apparently.
But you're like you're moving around the board, and you can't go backward.
Right. It's the Takedo thing where you can move as far as you want, yeah.
And you have to like move your scoring tracks to a certain point to even get any points. Like you start in the negative. Oh, I just banged my microphone.
Yeah,
sorry, guys.
Everything's in negative, and you have to get to a certain threshold on all the tracks to get any points at all.
So this was really far away. It's brutal. I think I like it, or at least I want to be better at it. Is really the issue?
I mean, that's how I feel about every game, but that's fine.
So that's why it's like 190. If I played it more and felt like I could get somewhere with it, then I might like it more. But I think the artwork's neat. It has kind of a medieval kind of artwork. Who does that? It was up here.
It's over there. It's
dang it.
It's a Michael Wolfgang Kramer game, I think. I don't know who does the art though.
Okay.
Probably Franz Clemens or Clemens Franz.
It's a difficult game, but I like brain burner games. I just don't feel like I quite got my grip on this one. I've only played it maybe 2 or 3 times. So I need more work on it. But my number 190 is Heaven and Ale.
I don't know what that is on my list, but
I didn't even talk about like, is it worker placement? I didn't even say any of that.
Doesn't matter. We can talk about whatever we want. Okay, so my number 190 is a game I think you've already talked about because it's in your top 100. Maybe.
I burnt my tongue. It is.
And it is called Masque of the Red Death. This is a deduction game where you're trying to figure out, by taking some actions through the course of the game, where the Red Death is going to show up at different times after the midnight hour. So you need to know, there's 6 different rooms, and you need to know which room he's going to be in every 10 minutes. Because you don't want to be in the same room as him when he's moving around. As his name implies, he's death and you will die. So you're trying to take all these actions, looking at people's cards, look at these extra cards that are on the on the stacks to know which cards are missing, so you are not there. So it's just a deduction game there's some other cool gameplay elements involved, but it's mostly deduction. Has some really cool art, a cool clock, grandfather clock that tells the round, which is really neat. And yeah, I like it. It's not my favorite game. Clearly it's at 190, but I do like it. And that's Masque of the Red Death.
Just because deduction's not really your thing.
Right. And I do have a cough, so if I cough, I apologize now.
Oh, I meant to grab a copy of this. My number 189 is a little card game that I actually grew up playing with my little Japanese grandma.
I'll get it.
Just gonna get it. I can see where the card games are. So my number 189 is Hanafada. which it's probably not common. I have multiple decks. Actually, interestingly enough, Nintendo started out as a company to make Hanafada decks. Little card games. Most of the cards are very small, maybe like this big. If I was good at numbers, I'd tell you about inches. Not.
Probably 2 inches.
Thank you. Jason says 2 inches. They're little. There are different... Can I get closer? Different suits on them. You can see kind of some of them. And you're trying to make matches. There's a little bit of a betting mechanism, how many tricks you think you can take.
Is there, man? We haven't played this game forever.
We haven't played it in forever. There are rules.
It's like set collection too, kind of.
Yes, and there's set collection because you score points for different types of things. Like there's these papers that you can score points for. I haven't really played with these very much. Yeah, see here's like the blue paper. Like the animals. I don't know. It'd be better if I knew the actual like names, like the big cards, which is like there's the moon. And so the different suits are actually the different months of the year.
Don't you like play a card down to like match another card or something?
Yeah, so
Isn't that how the game plays?
there's kind of like a pool out of face-up cards, and you have a hand of cards. And then when you can match, you're throwing them down and taking them.
Yeah, if you get certain cards, it fires off points in weird ways. Yeah, it's an interesting game. It's not like super complicated. It's like a traditional game that tons of families in Japan will play. But yeah, it's interesting for sure.
And there's some actual neat decks out there that can be kind of expensive. Since Nintendo started making these, there are like Mario decks. I really want a Hello Kitty deck, which
the Mario deck was cool.
I haven't seen, but
I'm sure it exists.
I'm sure it exists, and I want it so bad. But for me, like it's really pretty traditional art. The ones that I have always played with. It's a game I played with my grandma and my dad, my cousins on my dad's side of the family. My grandma would play for like a penny a point. She was brutal.
She probably cheated too, right?
She's a freaking cheater. Yeah. But it's just like a fun, especially coming from the Midwest where we played a lot of euchre and stuff. There is like matching set collection, trying for different ways to make points that I just genuinely like in a card game. And I like card games, period. And it's pretty. So, and you know I'm a sucker for a Japanese theme game. And there it is. So my number 189, Hanafada. Try it.
That's a good one. Man, we seriously haven't played that for a long time.
I know. It means flower card.
The Hanafada sounds way cooler.
Hanafada.
All right, so my number 189, that's what we are on, right? 189, is a game that I like, but I don't like as much as the regular game. And it's called Between Two Castles of Mad King Ludwig. I like the Castles of Mad King Ludwig. I like putting the tiles down. I like the way that it works. This one, I like it, but I don't necessarily like the cooperativeness of it. And instead of playing a cooperative game with everybody, you're playing a game with your two neighbors. You're working with them to place some tiles down into each castle to score the points. The trick here is you don't want one castle to be worth a ton of points because you get scored by your lowest point castle. So you're trying to balance that evenly, but better than everybody else, so you can have higher points. The room score similarly to how Castle of Mad King Ludwig would. So basement rooms are going to score a certain way, music rooms if they're around other things or whatever. There's some bonuses. If you've played Castles of Mad King Ludwig, this will feel kind of similar. And if you played Between Two Cities, this will feel really similar because that's basically what this game is. So yeah, I like it. We have the expansion. Not my favorite game of all time, but I do enjoy it. And if there's a large group, because this plays like to 8, it plays pretty quickly because you're only playing like 14 tiles or something. You don't take a ton of turns, and you're playing 2 of those tiles at the same time. So yeah, if you haven't heard of it or you want to check it out, do it. 189 Between Two Castles of Mad King Ludwig.
I think this is higher on my list because I really like castles. And I like Between Two Castles. The last time I played it, I had a bad experience. But other times I've played it, it's been good. There's lots of neat new rooms. And there's an app that you have to pay for it.
Oh, it's so good. It's the best board game app of all time.
But it's so worth it that you take a picture of your castle and it will score it for you.
Yeah. Instead of taking 30 minutes, you play the game for 30 minutes. And then you play 30 minutes of scoring. Now it's you play the game for 30 minutes and you score for 2 minutes. It's amazing.
It's so worth it. It makes it so much easier, especially for new people. I like it because 2 people are working on a castle together, so I feel like if you stagger your groups right, you can have more experienced people help new people, and it goes a little bit better. Mostly.
Yeah, you should always have somebody who's played before in one of the groups.
But then the scoring can really overwhelm them, so that the app is really nice. It's, I don't know, $5 or something.
It's $5.
But it is like excellent technology.
It was worth it.
Totally worth it. Okay, my 188 is another little tiny game, but it's not cards. No, it's dice. And that game is called Mountain Goats. So this is one of the little small box games. They were behind me.
It's right there.
Okay, it is behind me. From Board Table Games, right? Board gaming tables.
Board game tables.
Why do I always do this?
Board tables, gaming, tame, com, net. Or
what's the other one? Kids gaming boards tables.
Kids table board games.
Yeah, every time. I'm sorry, guys.
.org.com.
I like your products. Board game.
I mean, look, we clearly like it. They're all right there.
Board game tables.
And we have on tour from boardgametables.org.net.
I don't want to have to punch you on camera where there's evidence.
I can't laugh. I'll cough.
Yeah, so anyway, Mountain Goats. It is rolling. Everyone has goats, and there are these different mountains of different numbers that your goat's trying to climb up. So it's basically a king of hill kind of thing. As you get these numbers on your dice, you choose which goat you're going to move with the numbers. So it's 6 to 12.
Yeah, it goes to 12. Unless you have the expansion, you can go higher, but we haven't played with the expansion yet.
6 to 12 mountains. And so you're climbing up there. That's getting you points. If you are at the top of the mountain, you get like a special token of points. If you keep staying up there, you're getting more points every time. So the other people want to, dethrone you off of that mountain. But you're at the whim of the dice. Easy, quick.
It's a great game.
Fun little game. Anybody can play it because it's just dice chucking, and assigning your goats.
That's what you do. You roll dice. That's it.
Roll dice, move goats. That's it.
Yep.
It is a fun little game. I like it. It's a nice filler. It's a nice non-gamers game. It's a good game. So 188 Mountain Goats.
And it has more depth than just rolling dice and what happens. There's 4 dice, so you get to determine which values you want. So when you roll the dice, you have some decisions in there. There's quite a bit of decisions, actually. Because of multiple ones, you can re-roll or change them to whatever you want. It becomes pretty crazy when you roll the dice.
Right, but new people can... It's
right.
not like,
right.
Oh, I have 5, different tracks to manage.
Right.
And
I rolled a 6. Goat moves up.
Goat moves up 6.
Oh, I rolled a 12. I'm at the top. I get a token. I scored 12 points. Yay for me.
Or I move 2 6s.
It's really easy. It's a great game. The best game in those little box series by far, hands down.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's the best one. I will argue that with anybody.
By this.
All right, so my number 188 is another Stonemaier game. Because Between Two Castles of Mad King Ludwig is Stonemaier.
It is.
Ish. It's also Bezier. But my number 188 is My Little Scythe. Oh. So this is the Scythe version that I prefer. I don't know if I like the art better. I don't know what it is. I had a bad experience with regular Scythe. I don't know.
The art is better.
But it's effectively the same game, just simplified and made so families can play it together. Mm-hmm. It plays the same way. You're moving your little token around to take the action that you want. You're picking up gems and apples, delivering them to the castle, getting in pie fights, trying to be the first player to put down so many trophies to win the game. I think you need to put down 4 or 5 trophies or something. There's an expansion that adds a little airship that you can also move around and make some deliveries with.
Do we have that?
We do have that.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So yeah, if you played Scythe, this is effectively Scythe. You know how to play this. It's nothing different. But it's just going to take all the Scythe gameplay and make it easier to understand and more palatable.
And cuter.
And it plays in 30 minutes, where Scythe can take 3 hours. So you get the same feeling of Scythe. You still have pie fights. You can still do all that mess. But 30 minutes. And I can play it with my daughters. Mm-hmm. I like that. So my number 188, My Little Scythe.
It has minis, and they are so cute.
That's true. It does have a pile of minis.
I mean, I don't want to... I'm not to the point where I'm willing to spend money to commission somebody to paint them. But, oh, man, they're so cute.
Yeah, and the expansion put in 2 extra factions or something. It's like a fox, like some really cute little extra people.
I love that. My 187 is like a complete 180 from My Little Scythe, and it is a game about motorcycle gangs. I mean, motorcycle clubs.
Yeah, don't call them a gang. Come on.
And that is Sons of Anarchy, Men of Mayhem. So it reminds me a little bit of The Godfather, which you will not hear on these videos, but
it'll be on the podcast.
On the podcast for sure.
For both of us, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. So you are part of an MC motorcycle club. If you can play it even if you have never seen the show Sons of Anarchy.
It is cooler if you watch the show because of some of the places and the people you know, but not necessary.
Right. So you're going to these different locations on the map to get guns, get drugs. Are those not contraband?
Yeah. Well, guns you use in fights.
Yes.
Drugs is the only contraband.
It's the contraband. You also are getting new recruits into your MC, patching people in, because sometimes you might lose somebody. If you want to go to a place where someone else has their MC, you got to fight for it. So there's going to be a little gang war. The 5-0 shows up. Sometimes you go off to jail. Sometimes you go off to hospital because somebody gets knifed.
Got to get stitched up. I mean, even the bad guys need to see some hospital love.
Right. So it's just you're trying to get the most money.
Yes, after so many rounds.
I forget how many rounds. But you get, different numbers of workers depending on how you kind of build your club, which I think is cool. And I don't know. I mean, I have no interest in being an MC, but it's kind of fun for a little bit to play it in the game. So you're like, all right, we're going to throw down at Kara Kara. And so you're going to, I'm going to bring a posse in from over here. And you're all
the
going
Grim Bastards show up with the one-niners and the Mayans. It's a big throwdown, big mess. Yeah.
It's just fun. It's a good, silly game. It's mean.
Yeah, it's really mean.
It's really mean, but everybody knows that going in. You don't expect to oh yeah, we're just going to be a bunch of motorcycle gangs where we just hang out and sing Kumbaya. No. We're fighting over guns, drugs.
Yeah. It's an area control game amped up to 20.
Right.
Yeah.
And since I don't love mean games, but every once in a while it's fun to mix it up. So that's why my 187 is Sons of Anarchy.
Yeah, that's a good pick.
And it's cheap. Super cheap.
Yeah, it was
totally underrated.
$10. Yeah, we got ours from our buddy Chris because he didn't want it, and he has the fantasy version. I don't know what it is. I don't remember what it's called, but there's a fantasy version of this that plays the same way, but it has a more welcoming theme who don't want the motorcycle gangs.
But I like the motorcycle gangs, so.
So do I. I think it's cool, and I like to play as the Grim Bastards or the Mayans because they have Danny Trejo and Machete.
Sam Crow, all the way.
All right, so that's a good pick. We might talk about that later.
Maybe.
So my number 187 is a game that I've only played once, but I liked it a lot. And I made a trade for it. I got my own copy, but we haven't played it yet for the second time. So it might be higher if I played it more. I just haven't. And that is Smartphone Inc. So I don't remember all the details about this, but I know you're running a smartphone company, and you're trying to set up distribution chains to sell your smartphones in all the places
around the world
to make the most money. Or points. I'm not sure how they score it. But the cool thing about this is the way you pick actions is you have these two rectangle action pad icon things. They look like smartphone app things.
They do.
And I didn't know that. So you shut up. So you take them and you're going to lay them on top of each other in a certain way to fire off the actions that you want.
That you're revealing. So you're trying to figure out, which way do I have to go in here to do what I want. It's just a nice little puzzle. And then once you do that, you take all the turns. You're going to build out some factories. You might produce some smartphones. You might sell some phones, all that kind of thing. Normal economic game stuff. But the way the tablet thing works is really cool, and I like it. So I'd like to play it again to see if I like it more or if it's just stay here. But either way, it's a good game. So my number 187, Smartphone Inc. I liked it too. It's a different theme, which I think is cool. And you're kind of balancing increasing tech in certain ways because certain regions of the world want certain things to make, and you're trying to be more valuable. What do I need to have capability wise or whatever? Lots of different pieces happening in that game. Yeah, I'd like to play it more too. My number 186 is a lighter game. It's an IP, one that I think is stupid. I'm going to be honest. I think this IP is stupid because we came from an era where graphics in video games were bad. Why are we going back to them? Children, why?
Oh, I know what it is now.
So, my number 186 is Minecraft Builders and Biomes. But this game is good.
It does look terrible, but it is a good game.
It's terrible. It's so good. And I had no expectations going into it. Our friend Chris had it, and we actually went and got a copy because we like it so much. So, you got these colored blocks, like you do in Minecraft, and you're like pulling them off the tower in order to get like collect sets to build things, right?
Yeah, every building costs certain colors of cubes, and you're trying to get those cubes.
You're putting them on the board there. You can like get weapons to slay creatures. I made up names for them. Apparently in Minecraft they have actual names. I just changed them all to my own whim based on what they look like.
Because their names are dumb.
Right. It was fun. So you're like trying to fight things and then get your buildings out there. And you're doing it with like these nice, like feeling chunky blocks in kind of pleasing colors. And surprisingly, I had such a good time playing it. So it's ranked pretty high, 186, but for like an IP that I think is stupid, it's a pretty good game.
It really could be just generic. Dungeon crawly theme, but I think because it's blocks, it makes sense.
It does make sense
because you're collecting blocks to make stupid block stuff.
Yeah,
but yeah, the gameplay is amazing. I actually played this not too long ago with Brandon, and it was still fun. And it plays in like 30 minutes. It's super fast because like the cube tower is like the timer. When you get down to the last layer, game's over. So you're trying to do all this stuff, score the most points as you can in like 30 minutes. It's really fun. And
I think it's a nice way then to get kids who play video games into board games.
Right.
With an IP they like that I think is stupid, but the gameplay is good that I'm willing to overlook that. And it makes sense for the mechanics. So check that out. 186 Minecraft Builders and Biomes.
Sorry, I gotta take a drink. Cough is coming.
I should have done that while I was talking.
I should have. All right, so my number 186 is a game that I didn't initially like because I think the first version is garbage. But the second one, I liked a lot better. And that game is called The Quest for Eldorado, The Golden Temples. So The Quest for Eldorado, The Golden Temples is the sequel or standalone expansion or whatever of The Quest for Eldorado. And what you're doing in this game is you are basically in a jungle or somewhere. You're in some place, something, somewhere.
It's a jungle.
And you're playing cards to move your piece onto different types of terrain. And in the Golden Temples one, you're trying to get to these 3 temples to get 3 different colored jewels and bring them back to where you started from. So it's kind of a race. The original one's a race to the end of the board, but this one's a pick up and deliver race, I guess. Mm-hmm. And it's also a deck builder, so you're going to be buying additional cards to make your deck even better to help you get farther and all that kind of thing. And I like this one because I like picking up the jewels. I know it's the exact same thing. I understand. But I like the concept of picking up the jewels a little bit better.
It's totally arbitrary to the gameplay.
I don't know. I like it. This version felt way more fun to me than the other one. I don't know what it is, but I enjoyed everything about this one 100 times more than the other one.
It was because your attitude sucked the first time.
That could be it. But we're not going to blame this on me. We're going to blame it on the game. So my number 186, The Quest for Eldorado, The Golden Temples. If you like, or if you can find the other one, just play that. You'll probably be fine with it. I'm just being a baby. But either way, I don't like that one. I like this one. So The Quest for Eldorado, The Golden Temples is my 186.
And we don't own this one.
No.
Which I would like. I like both of them. I like that. I love deck builders. And so the idea of building a deck to allow you to move and move maybe through water or through sand or whatever is cool that you're like working on a deck to make those things happen. So I do like that. My 185 is a 2-player game. And I generally don't love 2-player games as much as other games because I play for a lot of the social aspect. But this 2-player game is really neat. And it's Naga Raja.
Oh yeah, this is a good one.
Yeah, so it's a 2-player game. You each have like a temple. I think that's what that is in front of you.
You're going into
into
a temple. You're
exploring
a temple, yeah.
Right. And to do that, like, you're throwing these, like, these sticks.
I think they're the Rajas.
And the Nagas are the dots.
Yeah, maybe. The Nagas are the crooked line.
Yeah.
Or the sticks are the Naga. Either way. There's a Naga and a Raja involved.
So instead of dice, it's like these sticks with these different...
they're still pips.
Pip type things on them. And that's going to dictate who gets to play a card. The cards allow you to kind of manipulate the tiles that you have in your temple. You're trying to collect artifacts from them that have points.
Yeah, it's a race to get like...
forget how many points you're trying to get.
Once so many are revealed, you just need to have higher points. Because if you reveal the red ones, you...
Well, and then there are bad, like, cursed artifacts that you don't want to reveal. And simultaneously, you're also kind of trying to force the other player to reveal the cursed items. Mm-hmm. And some can get covered up. You have to be able to have a pathway in and out of the temple so you can block people off by moving around pieces of their temple. It's a little mean, but the card play is really interesting. The Nagas and the Rajas are interesting.
Yeah, the dice are really cool. They're really cool.
Yeah, it's fun. Like, they feel neat, and to throw them and use them is a cool part of the game. And so that's why I like it. I don't hear a lot of people talk about this, but if you are into 2-player games, you're looking for something different, I would strongly suggest checking out Naga Raja. It's a good time.
Yeah, it might be higher on my list. If not, I don't know where it is, but I do really like this.
My 185. Yeah, I think you like it more than me, but I don't know.
It's a 2-player game, and by nature, a lot of 2-player games are mean, so I can kind of let that slide mostly. But
that's true.
And it's mean, not like really like take that stuff. Well, some of it, but some of it's just I played cards that just happen to do bad things to you. But yeah, it's good. All right, so my number 185 is a game that we just got a while ago, and it's called Shelfie Stacker. I did a video for this. It's effectively like Sagrada, but with board game dice. You're drafting these dice that have one of 4 different colors. Purple, green, orange, blue. Yeah. And you're trying to put those dice into a column, all of the same color.
You haven't talked about the theme.
You're building a board game shelf. You're collecting board games and putting them in a shelf, and you're trying to organize them the best that you can.
That's so neat. That's like...
It's called Shelfie Stacker. I didn't think I need to explain the theme.
You can stack all kinds of things on shelves.
Okay, you're collecting. You're making a board game collection.
So it feels like meta.
Yeah, it's a meta theme, and so if I stack purple board games in this column, I have to stack other purple board games in that column, but they have to go in. You always have to stack a die of a higher value on top of another one. There are some cards that will let you break rules, and the way the game works is on your turn you're going to play a card. The higher number card, I think, fires off first, or lower number. Either one of the numbers will fire off first and let you draft first. But every card also has an ability that you can use once during the game. So I may be able to, if I can't place something on my shelf at some point, I'll go into my shelf of shame and it's negative points. So I may play a card that lets me move something from my shelf of shame into the actual shelf by breaking color order. Or I may be able to push some dice up so I can have some room to put some more stuff in there. They're just going to give you a whole bunch of special game-breaking powers that you can play, which is really cool. So it's a cool game. If you like Sagrada, you like abstract puzzles like that, or if you, then you're going to like this. If you like collecting board games, you're really going to like this because it's like real life. So 185, Shelfie Stacker.
I think this is higher on my list because I really did like it. And I like a fun theme. I don't like the kind of dryness and non-themeness of, I think that's there in Sagrada and like Azul and stuff.
That's true. If this didn't have a theme, it would be the theme would be drier than Sagrada.
Yeah, sure. But there's good like puns, and the fact that I can play a card, maybe I don't want a particular number to draft, but I want to make sure I have this power available to use to maybe reorganize my shelf, move things differently, change up the game. I like that. It's really neat. I think it'll come later. I don't know that for sure, but I think so.
We're so good at these lists.
I remember every game I've ever played. My 184 is a dry game. It has actually dropped for me. I used to like it a lot more. But I realize it's a lot about area control, and I'm terrible at it. So my number 184 is Founding Fathers.
Oh, yeah. I actually set this up to do a video for it. I'm like, man, I don't think I can do a video for this by myself because it's just too mean.
It is. There's a lot of moving parts. So Founding Fathers is about getting articles added to the Constitution. So you're at the Constitutional Congress. Yeah. Constitutional Convention.
I don't know.
Constitutional Convention.
Alexander Hamilton.
Is in there.
Aaron Burr.
Aaron Burr was not there.
Angelica Schuyler.
She's
definitely not there. Yeah, that's right.
A lot of old dead white guys are there. So you have certain states or certain ways that you want to vote. You're trying to influence different articles that come in to go certain ways. It's a lot about area control. It's moving delegates around. Things go to committee. There's card play. There's tracks. So it's got a lot of like cool elements. But one of the biggest elements is area control, and I stink at it. So I think I find this game frustrating, but I like that it's this interesting historical theme. You don't see that very often. And there's lots of things to manage, which I tend to like in a game. So it's dropped some for me, but it still is fun. So my number 184, Founding Fathers.
It's probably only because we haven't played it for a long time.
Well, no, because at first I really, really liked it, and the last time I played it, I was like,
Yeah, I think, it definitely, the theme definitely makes it mean. Because I'm sure that's what would have been going on.
Oh, yeah,
they would have been
fighting
backstabbing and, just being awful to each other, trying to get stuff done.
And it kind of goes a little long.
Yeah, it's a little long, for sure. I can see that.
It's still cool.
So my number 184 is a little push your luck game about pulling stuff out of a bag. Well, it's really about saving books from catching on fire in a library, and it's called Fire in the Library.
It's God's work.
So this is a push your luck game. There's cubes in the bag. The cubes are going to represent one of the 4 or 5 different colors of books that you're trying to rescue. I think there's 4. But there's also fire cubes in there. So what you're trying to do is you're reaching into the bag, you're pulling out cubes. If you can get a book, cool. You've got some points. If you get fire or you get too many fire, bad news, section of the library burns. But now that colored book is going to be more valuable because they're rarer. So you're trying to get the most points, obviously. You're trying not to burn up the library because if the library burns up all the way, the game's over. There's also going to be some ways you can get some cards to help you out through the game, like you maybe get a fire extinguisher, a bucket to throw water on, or whatever, to try to like negate some of the draws and all that thing. So the cards really help, but at its heart, it's a push your luck game. Really easy to play, easy to teach, and it's in like a book, and the score track is the box, which is pretty neat. So if you have a chance to play it, it's pretty affordable. It's actually on sale right now from Weird Giraffe Games. I saw it on Facebook or Twitter or something for like $20.
Do they have the...
No, I looked. They don't have the fancy books, but they have the base game and the like promo expansion will like add some fire and technology cubes. But yeah, it's good. It's a fun game if you like push your luck. Check it out. So that's my number 184, Fire in the Library.
It also has kind of a cool catch-up mechanic because if you're you like pick turn order, if you decide to go first, yeah, there are more book cubes in the bag, but you're like rushing straight into the fire, so you have less of a fire tolerance. You can't.
You can pull out 1 fire cube and then any more you bust.
You can't handle as many books.
If you go last, you can maybe pull out 4 fire cubes before you bust, but there's less books in there to pull out. So yeah, it's really neat.
I think it's neat. It might be higher on mine because I do like it. Anything that has to do with books, I'm in. My number 183 is basically like what I feel is a gamer version of Trivial Pursuit. The only way I'll get people to play trivia with me, and that is Timeline Challenge.
Somebody bought this because of us.
Oh, yeah?
It was Liz.
Oh, Liz.
Yeah, she said.
I'm glad. I like it. I like that you can add like timeline cards to it. There's something about like the fact that it's the challenge makes I think it a little bit easier for non-true people to get in on it because you don't have to necessarily know everything.
You don't have to be exactly right either, which is nice.
Right. I think it would be higher if I played it more and if I had more cards to add to it of things that I'm really interested in. There is like a music and movies or something kind of.
We did just get the invention one though.
We did.
So we have Americana, the Timeline Challenge game, and the Inventions now.
But there's a music one that like you cannot get.
It's like $50 or something. It's outrageous.
I want it so badly because that's the stuff that we really like, and I think that would make the game even more fun. And I probably played even more, and it moved up my list. But it's still good, still a fun game. The Timeline Challenge kind of mixes up how you use the cards as opposed to just the regular timeline game, which I think makes it even better. So That is my 183 timeline challenge.
It's a good one. I don't know where it is on mine. I'm going to say lower than 200. My number 183 is a game that we played once, and I dominated.
And I did not understand it at all.
Which is why it's high on my list. And I want to play it again. I probably could have played it last Saturday because there was a big game going on, but I was playing something else.
Yeah.
And it is called Dwellings of Eldervale. I'm going to try to explain this because I only played it the one time. But it's a worker placement game, kind of, where you're using different kinds of workers. They're going to have different powers. And you're going to be going out to these locations to collect resources and maybe fight some monsters. Is there dice? Do you roll dice? Yeah. When you're fighting monsters, you're going to roll dice for like combat. You have strength, and you're trying to beat the monster. If you beat the monster, you get some points. You may get a special ability or whatever. Ultimately, what you're trying to do is you're trying to buy these cards of a certain color and also move up on said tracks of that color.
You have to have dwellings in order for the cards to score.
Yes. Yeah. To score a pile of points. You're trying to build in yellow, move up on the yellow track to score a pile of points. That's effectively the game. It's a worker placement game with a lot of like crazy rules where you might have to take a turn. You're going to have to pull your workers back, but you also get to do an ability when you do that. So it's one of those, you place them all out, but eventually you got to reset, that kind of thing. It has really good art. It has minis. The one we played, the minis actually made noise. So you put them down on the ground and they like growl at you, which is pretty cool. Yeah, it's a good game. I'd like to try it again. Chris, I'd like to try it again if you're watching. So yeah, my number 183, Dwellings of Eldervale.
Yeah, it was a lot the first time. So now that I have a rough grasp of the rules, maybe it'll be better. I didn't realize, I needed to match said dwellings with said cards.
Kenny was playing a different game while we were playing.
I was playing a totally different game. I thought I made dwellings, but they just apparently in the right place because you take your worker and you put like a roof on top of them, and they turn into a dwelling.
Right. Yeah.
Which I thought was cute, so I thought that was fun, but I didn't do it right or enough, or I'm not sure. I honestly don't know what happened.
You didn't move up on the tracks enough.
I couldn't tell you what happened, only that I did not get it and I lost real bad.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
I was like, well, my points are done, so I'll just let the rest of you guys score because I don't know what I'm doing. That's not a must. Maybe once I figure it out, I might. I don't know. My 182, Jason actually talked about on the podcast, I'm pretty sure, because he likes this significantly more than me. But it's a fun game, and that game is Thrash and Roll.
Oh, yeah, I did talk about it already.
So, like Jason mentioned, Thrash and Roll, you are trying to get your rock band together, you're rolling dice and then placing them so that you can record an album, you can get radio play, you can get better equipment, and eventually at some point
you have to learn how to play said equipment better too.
Oh, yeah.
So you practice.
You practice, and eventually you go on tour with
Turbo. The greatest band in Poland.
And so you collect the points in different ways, and like getting your songs and your albums up on the charts, and then helps make your tour more profitable point-wise for you. I like the theme a lot, and actually for there are lots of music games out there that really kind of suck. This one, it does have a lot of depth to it. Like, how do I use this dice that I have? Like, what can I do? Okay, I know I need to get a single on the charts. Like, how do I move it up? There's a lot of thinky process to it. The artwork sucks really bad.
Well, I like it.
It's hideous. It was behind here.
Yeah, so we have two.
Oh, okay.
So we have Thrash and Roll.
I haven't played the other one.
We have Thrash and Roll, which looks like this. I don't know how well you can see this on here, but this is Thrash and Roll.
It's like if the guys that made do some Butthead.
That's Turbo, I think. And then we have Thrashing Dice, which is a more streamlined version.
I haven't played this one.
Looks like this. This one actually, Thrash and Roll actually looks better than Thrashing Dice, I think. But the board, let's see if we can bust it out.
I feel like my assessment is only
the board on the back of this. Okay, I'm not going to get it out, but yeah. I like the art. It's not great art, but I do like it.
But the gameplay is pretty fun. Obviously, because it's my 182, so that's Thrash and Roll.
Yeah, it's a great game. The rule book is awful. So everything on the game is iconography, all of it. There's no words. So, and you go to a space, there's like this many icons. It's like if you go here with 1 die, you can do this, 2 dice this, 3 dice this.
Yeah.
Or if there's someone else there, you do this. Like, so you're all the time looking at the book like, I don't know what this is. Even if you're in the last round of the game, it's like, crap, I gotta look this up again. But outside of that, it's a good game.
It is.
All right, my number 182, Katie already talked about on this video.
I did.
And it's Sons of Anarchy, Men of Mayhem. I'm not going to say anymore. Really mean. Area control game. Great theme.
There's expansions. We don't have the expansion.
I think the expansions are just other clubs.
I know, but we need other clubs. I like choices.
Well, for some reason we have the Grim Bastards card, but we don't have the Grim Bastards bike. Because they should be orange, and we don't have any orange.
What about the
we have the Lin, the 1/9ers, the Mayans, and Sam Crow are the base ones. And then we have the Grim Bastards card. That's it.
But no bike for them.
No bike. But you can just use one of the other colors.
Sure.
But yeah, it's a fun game. Like Katie said, it's mean. It might go on a little too long as well, but it's good. And there are some rounds where nothing could happen because everybody's just piled up on these tiles and no one started a fight yet. So you could spend 3 rounds on these tiles and then at the end of it, get nothing. But it's what a gang would do. Excuse me, a club that kills other clubs would do. But yeah, I like it. So my number 182, Sons of Anarchy, Men of Mayhem.
All right, and my last one, I assume, for the night. My 181 is a holiday game.
What?
And it's probably one of the best ones because there are some really bad Christmas games out there. You know what I'm talking about. Actually, I don't remember the name.
I know one for sure. Christmas Eve, the race to help Santa.
Don't help Santa. Santa cries when people play that game.
No, you can help Santa, just don't play this game by doing it.
But the actual good game, the game I think is the best Christmas themed game that I know of, is Santa's Workshop.
Oh yeah, really good.
It was over here.
It is
over here.
It's over there somewhere.
So this is from Rio Grande Games. Look, it's Santa's Workshop. In Santa's Workshop, you have like a team of elves and you are building toys for Christmas Eve. You also feed reindeer. You feed them cookies, I think.
Yes, you do feed them cookies.
You feed reindeer cookies so you can...
it doesn't really have a good picture of the book.
No, there's a good picture of the board. So that you can get some special powers, maybe some extra materials to make toys with. You can be a very upstanding elf and take time to make things handcrafted with quality pieces, or you can be a speedy elf who makes crappy plastic toys.
That's the way I like to go. I like the plastic toys.
That is always Jason's method. I don't know that he's won this.
I'm not good at this game. Not good at it. But I can make a lot of things, but I make it with a lot of plastic so they don't score many points.
Right. So there's like the balance between how quick, it's worker placement, and also your elves, you can help them specialize in different types of toy making. So that makes when you place them, they're more powerful if they're better at getting coal or they're better at metalworking or whatever. And so you're placing, and they're like little cute little shell-shaped elf meeples out on the board to go around and gather your materials to make toys that you have on your list for all the boys and girls for Christmas. It's cute. The artwork's okay.
You like this art?
It's not great.
Like, this is art that I think is gross.
Oh, it's sitting on top of Thrash and Roll right now. Compare the two, please.
I'm not okay. They're both gross. I like Thrash and Roll because of the theme. I think this is just
that's why I like Santa's Workshop.
Yeah, the scoring track is cool though because it's like gingerbreads and presents and candy canes. So every space is a different one. The scoring track is my favorite part of it, honestly.
But for a Christmas themed game, it is fun. It's nice to pull out. Just pretty easy worker placement, and you're making toys. So that is my number 181, Santa's Workshop.
It's a good game. I don't know where it is on my list, but I do like it. And everybody hates it. It's super cheap everywhere. I don't know why. It's a good game.
Who hates it? If you like want a like fun little
reviews.
Christmas game to play on like Christmas Eve with your family, get Santa's Workshop.
Yeah, well, she says little, but the board's like a 6-panel board.
Okay,
it's huge.
it is big.
It takes up a lot of table
because you got
space.
like reindeer over here. You got all like the different shops and stuff, and
yeah, it's good. All right, so my number 181, you might have talked about somewhere.
Last week.
Okay.
It was my like 190
On the podcast
something.
or on the... Okay.
No, on the video.
Okay. And that is Gorinto, 181 Gorinto. So this is an abstract game where all the pieces are going to be moving in different ways. And what you're trying to do is you're trying to collect, like Katie said last week, or last episode, I don't know if it was last week, you're trying to collect different colors to get stacks that are going to score different ways. And you're going to play over 3 or 4 rounds or something, and you're just trying to add the most points. It looks really fun, really good on the table. The pieces are nice and chunky. They stack up like upwards tiles, which is cool. And it's a great game. And as far as abstract goes, it's up there in like the top 2 for me. Of the way they look, at least. Like this and Mandala Stones are like some of the best looking ones. Or Shelfie Stacker looks good too, I guess. So maybe top 5.
That's not abstract.
Shelfie Stacker?
No, it's got a theme.
All abstract games have a theme.
Like a functional theme. I'm not saying like super themed, but a functional theme.
In Gorinto, you're Gorinting things.
No, those are Gorinto. Oh my gosh. You already installed Canada. Must you install Asians?
I must install everybody. So my number 181, before I say anything else dumb, is Gorinto. Katie explained it better last week. Go watch that. There's also a video on our channel you can go watch too if you want to actually see it in action and not listen to me ramble on about it.
All right. So on this very strange video, I'm going to review the 10 games talked about my 190 to 181. So my 190 was Heaven and Ale. My 189, a little card game, Hanafada. 188, Mountain Goats. 187, Sons of Anarchy, Men of Mayhem. 186, Minecraft, Builders and Biomes. 185, Naga Raja, 2-player game. 184, Founding Fathers. 183, Timeline Challenge. 182, Thrash and Roll. And 181, Santa's Workshop.
My number 190 is Masque of the Red Death. My 189 is Between Two Castles of Mad King Ludwig. 188, My Little Scythe. 187, Smartphone Inc. 186, The Quest for Eldorado, The Golden Temples. 185, Shelfie Stacker. 184, Fire in the Library. 183, Dwellings of Eldervale. 182, Sons of Anarchy, Men of Mayhem. And 181, Gorinto.
All right. So sometime in the next week or so, we'll start again at 180 as we're counting down towards 100. If you're listening to our podcast, we're in our top 100. I think we're in the 70s.
Oh, I can't remember. That sounds right. 70 to 61, I think.
We're in the 70s.
Yep.
So if it's 70 to 61, then that's the 60s.
I don't know.
We're somewhere in there. So getting into our super really good games. So be sure to listen. Podcast drops by Friday morning, sometimes a little early. So check us out there. As always, please share with us your favorite games. That's one of my favorite parts about this, is finding new games that maybe will make it onto our list next year. So make recommendations. If you think something that we talked about sounds good, go out and find it secondhand, cheap, because that's what we're about.
Or trade. BGG
or trade.
That's a good way.
We do trade a lot also, to just see if you like it. And maybe you'll find a new like top 100 game for you. I guess that's all for us tonight.
Yep.
All right.
I need to cough real bad so we can round this up.
All right. I'm Katie. He's Jason. Keep gaming, everybody.
Keep gaming.